which is socially acceptable and which is economically viable. So we should not just think only about the technical aspect, but also about the social aspects. So let me share my presentation. Next 20 minutes to integrate humanities in STEM, so science, technology, environmental, and management. So basically, what we're trying to do is bridge human wisdom with scientific innovation, where human insight meets scientific innovation, meaningful solutions emerge. Now, if you look at this, there are four, it's a very important Venn diagram. It says what you love doing, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. The intersection of what you love doing and what you're good at is passion. Like you're good in, engineering, civil engineering, or you love civil engineering, that's called passion. Okay, and what you're good at and what you get paid for is profession. Like you are an expert in mechanical engineering or a commerce graduate or a science graduate, you get a job in, mechanical, commerce or whatever, that's called profession. Then what you get paid for, the world needs a lot of people. So if this matches called vocation, now our aim in all our research purpose is to this integration of all this. That is, you must love whatever you're doing. You must be good at what you are doing, whatever you're doing. You should pay it for the job in which you're specialized, and the world needs a lot of these people. Now, if you look at this, we blame our technology devices? Blaming our technology devices, the world today confronts problems of different kinds, which require interdisciplinary solutions, combining both technical expertise and humanistic understanding. Traditionally viewed as separate domains, the humanities and STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, management, should be integrated and generate more innovative, ethical, and socially responsible solutions to contemporary issues. So, blending the analytical ability of STEM with the critical, ethical, and creative perspective. In fact, we've been talking about the ethical aspects, perspective, the human aspects is essential to address the multifaceted global issues such as climate change, artificial intelligence versus morality and autonomy, public health crisis, and technology inequality. So, the potential of an integrated approach is a need of the hour to foster rich problem solving, to promote ethical innovation, and equip future professionals with skills necessary to navigate in an increasingly complex world. So the area of study of humanities, such as philosophy, literature, history, arts, etc., bring an exclusive kind of intellectual depth to problem solving. Rather than focusing on precision and efficiency, the humanities generally promote variegated thinking, creativity, and the exploration of human values, emotions, and experience. So how we can compare humanities and STEM? If you trace history, it's also clear that Greek scholars studied poetry, philosophy, and mathematics with equal zeal. So are the case with India and many other countries. The areas of study humanities such as philosophy, literature, history, arts, etc., bring an exclusive kind of intellectual depth to problem solving. Rather than focusing on problems and efficiency, we try to explore human values, emotions, and experiences. At a certain point in time, the emphasis, particularly to emphasize particular areas and topics, segregation was put into practice. However, the time has come for interdisciplinarity to be invoked, which will in turn solve complicated issues. So why do we need interdisciplinarity? Contrasting most fields of STEM, the goal of humanity is not to find one correct solution or the solution. Rather, it introduces various states of life and encourages open-ended inquiry, multiple interpretations, and a broader understanding of context. Moreover, this kind of emphasis is crucial in fields requiring innovation and generating novel ideas. So by integrating the humanities approach into science, technology, and engineering and management, all of us can travel beyond scientific rigidity and technical constraints and can imagine more imaginative and unconventional solutions where various aspects can be included to think outside the box. We can approach problems from new angles and embrace ambiguity in a way that can lead to breakthroughs. In today's fast-paced world of technology, where change is constant and future is uncertain, the ability to think creatively and broadly and adopt to new challenges is a solution that will enable us to accept ambiguity wholeheartedly and understand different aspects of any issues. Furthermore, when ambiguity is accepted, there is no compulsion to find the solution or the answer, and the hierarchy between science and creativity will also possibly be blurred. This attitude can help us to respect every domain by removing discrimination and can help us live peacefully in harmonious life. The global challenges, the key benefits of studying humanities. One is the critical thinking. Humanities students are trained to think critically about complex societal issues, which is an essential skill for any engineer, doctor, or scientist when they discuss the implications of their work. For example, there were debates whether whether COVID-19 vaccine should be administered to everyone or whether herd immunity would take care of things. There are objections based on religious principles, ethics of administering vaccines, when some were against vaccinating themselves, etc. At such junctures, critical thinking is needed to decide what course of action to take for the benefit of humanity. Then when you study this, you also develop creativity and innovation. You are also becoming culturally aware. Humanities education gives students insights into various cultures, histories, and philosophies. This is important when there are exchange programs between and among countries and where there is necessity to deal extensively with members of other cultures and traditions. For example, doctors from other countries working in the United States need to be culturally aware when talking to or dealing with fellow doctors, nurses, management of hospitals, and patients. Then communication skills is something very, very important you can develop when you are good in humanities. I'm an engineer by training, a civil engineer with a master's and PhD in engineering technology. But then in our education, we had a strong humanities integration, so it helped us a lot. The strong written and verbal communication ability is essential in STEM subjects. Unless a concept is conveyed in a comprehensible manner, it remains a vague and abstract phenomenon that no one understands or feels the importance of. A very good example why humanities matter is evident from the life of Steve Jobs, who attended classes in calligraphy, and this led to different fonts being created in the Macintosh. Also, Jobs was the one who would unveil Apple's products, iPad, iPhone, iPod, etc. And it is his communication skills and presentation skills that stood out as he spoke to the features of the Apple products. Then when we do study humanities, we learn a lot of adaptability. With the knowledge of humanities, STEM graduates have flexibility to work in diverse industries, from education to corporate leadership. It isn't enough if one develops a product. The benefits of using a product will have to be shared with the stakeholders, and that requires strong communication skills, interpersonal skills, and persuasion skills, all of which one hopes through courses in the humanities, such as literature, philosophy, etc. Then we also develop empathy and ethics, which was highlighted by the earlier speaker. Humanities education emphasizes understanding human experiences, ethics, and social justice, making graduates highly valuable in interpersonal roles. Now, why STEM majors need the humanities? I'll give an example. A very well-known professor of mathematics in University of Washington, Neil Koblitz, about him, when I was a freshman half a century ago, I asked one of my professors, an eminent mathematician named Lars Flores, very famous person, for advice on my academic program. As a budding mathematician, I knew about a lot of math courses I should take and some physics course as well. I asked what other course in math and science I should include in my program. Professor Alfors replied, don't take more courses in those subjects. Once you get to graduate school, you will be studying nothing but mathematics. Now is a chance to become well-educated, study literature, history, and foreign languages. Very beautiful advice which I given. So sometimes I repeat this story to my students and I hope that the message is not drowned out by what they might be hearing from parents, friends, and media. So the advice of Professor Alfors is the weakening of liberal arts traditions and the corporate of higher education are on the minds of many of us. Particularly, omnious is the nationwide trend towards education on the cheap in our entry-level courses. These take two forms. First, more and more undergraduate courses are being taught online. This might be good for the institution bottom line, but in most cases, it's not good for the student whose learning and whose college experience are being diminished. Secondly, the introductory courses in many universities are increasingly taught by adjunct faculty, graduate students, and second-tier teaching faculty. The result is to transform the first and sometimes second year of the college into an extension of high school, lower the intellectual level introductory course in both humanities and STEM fields, and create further distance between students and the world of research and innovation. So what is important is we have to go beyond occasionalization. The argument again replacing liberal art tradition with narrow occasionalism is usually phrased in purely humanistic terms. The importance of educating the whole person, the need for a broadly informed citizenry, and so on. Often overlooked is that for STEM majors, as much as for other future professionals, a broad background in humanities is likely to give them a tremendous advantage in their career. Then when you do humanities, you develop a lot of writing skills. So writing matters. A good piece of technical work is a part of narrative that is a long plot line and a large cast of characters. With few exceptions, for STEM professionals to have an impact, they must be able to write effectively and creatively. For example, mathematics applied to information security. 40 years ago, at the dawn of the computer age, the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, IEEE, published an article called New Directions for Cryptography. This was almost half a century back. Arguably the most important paper in the history of cryptography, written by two broadly educated computer scientists, Wilfred Diffie and Martin Hellman. The article had an impact that was due to primarily to its technical content, impressive though that was, but rather to the author's ability to articulate a vision for the future internet, and that can still be read today as a guide to some basic principles of cybersecurity. Then we have another case from Kathy O'Neill, is another example of the recent book, Weapons of Math Destruction, How Big Data Increases Inequality and Threatens Democracy, by Kathy Neal, who is a Harvard Maths PhD, who deftly translates her expertise in mathematical modeling into a series of stories that sound alarm about the use of mathematics to intimidate, mislead, and mistreat millions of people. But what about rank and file scientists and engineers who have more modest attainments than Diffie and Hellman and write for such smaller leadership than O'Neill? So what is important is when you are good in humanities, you develop the power of storytelling. So what about the rank and file scientists who have more modest attainments? There is a repetition intentionally done. Diffie and Hellman who write for such smaller leadership than O'Neill. Success in achieving objectives often depends on the ability to tell a story. Then we talk about research writing. For example, our journal article reach a wider audience if the introduction is an engaging narrative that proceeds from the statement of problem, explanation of its importance, and summary of prior work to an overview of paper's contribution and direction for future research. Grant application will have a better chance of success if they convey one's technical accomplishments in language that gives context, history, and direction, and does not lose sight of the forest for the trees. And if you want to influence the decision on a scientific or technology controversy, either in our work or as a citizen writing an open editorial for a local newspaper, we must broaden our focus and write with a perspective that will make sense to a diverse group of people. The common element in all of this is knowing how to tell a story. Contrary to popular misconception about science and technology, a good piece of technical work is not a disembodied sequence of formulas and calculation, but rather is part of a narrative that is a long plot line and large cast of characters. So storytelling is a fundamental part of human being from the time we are little children. It's also a central part of many cultural traditions. How can a student learn to tell a story well? First and foremost, by reading great literature. Another way a student can learn how to analyze content and trace the development of an idea is through study of history. And finally, one of the most effective ways to acquire a broad perspective and appreciation of the nuance of communication is through the study of foreign languages and literatures. So one way some universities try to convey the importance of humanities is through their induction and orientation program, which takes place in the initial stage of the academic program before the actual commencement of regular classes. So these are actually multidisciplinary seminars presented by experts. It is not education on the cheap for many of us, including me. It is the most satisfying teaching we do. We push the students hard, we make them write and rewrite papers and give PowerPoint presentation. And my course, there is a lot of mathematics as well. So we try to explain the critical thinking means at the university level. The incoming students get the opportunity before they're thrown into large classes. And for STEM students, the rat race to get into competitive majors. In addition to introducing students to the rigors of college courses, the experts orient the students about how to get most of the years at the university. Critical thinking in university is also very important. One of the most important thing I tell my class is broadly what Professor Alphonse told me 50 years ago. I tell them that they'll be much better off in the long run if they take the opportunity to study humanities subjects and foreign languages. It will lead to a richer and more fulfilling life. Yeah. In addition, it will lead to a more successful career because if you really want to have an impact in the STEM field, you have to learn how to tell a story. To summarize, humanities and social science courses play a crucial role in fostering well-rounded education for engineering, science, and management. These courses encourage students to think critically about complex issues, enhancing their problem-solving skills. Effective communication is vital in any field. Humanities courses help students to articulate ideas clearly and persuasively. Understanding the ethical implications of technology and engineering practice is essential. Humanities and social science provide the framework for ethical reasoning. Modern challenges often require interdisciplinary solution. These courses promote collaboration between engineering and social sciences, leading to innovative approaches. Exposure to diverse perspectives fosters cultural sensitivity, essential for global citizenry, and teamwork in a multinational environment. Understanding the social implications of technology helps students design solutions that are not only technically sound, but also socially responsible and acceptable. Engaging in economics, literature, philosophy, and social issues encourages self-reflection and personal growth. So in a rapidly changing world, skills gained from humanities courses enhance adaptability, preparing students for various career paths beyond engineering. Integrating humanities and social sciences in the curriculum equips students with holistic education that complements their technical expertise. So just to summarize here, effective communication is vital in any field. Humanities course helps students to articulate ideas clearly and persuasively. We have interdisciplinary collaboration. We have social responsibility. We also think about global citizenship to experts exposed to diverse perspectives for the cultural sensitivity, essential for global citizenship, and teamwork in a multinational environment. Personal growth, understanding the ethical implications of technology and engineering practice is essential. Human and social sciences provide a framework for ethical reasoning. Future skills. Modern challenges often require interdisciplinary solutions. These courses promote collaboration between engineering and social sciences, leading to innovative approaches. So key takeaways from the lecture is understanding the social implications of technology helps students solutions that are not only technically sound, but also socially responsible. Engage in economic, literary, philosophy, and social issues, encourages self-reflection and personal growth. Now, a small talk here. Now, we meet a lot of people in our life. There are people you like, people who like you, enjoy them. There are people you like, but they don't like you. Accept such people. The people you like, but they don't like you. Respect them. People who don't like you and people you don't like, avoid them. So there's simple, human relation that can happen. And all of us should have in our education high level of integrity, motivation, honesty, innovation, sincerity, hard work, leadership, and inspiration. These are very, very essential. So do it now. Sometime later it becomes never. So whatever you want to do it now. Don't postpone things. And all these qualities one has to develop. If you want to be a productive person, you have to smile, you must have laughter, you must have happiness, you have enjoy life, take time for good things. So many things. These are positive words, and you go forward. And let me stop here. There any questions? I have my email ID here. You can mail me or you can ask me after this talk. And let me say thank you very much for this opportunity.